You know your family is looking for one person right now, and if that person is not you, it most likely is going to take maybe another 20, 30, 50, 80 years till that person shows up. But in every family, there's always one person that arises and ends the circle of disdain, of penury, of that insufficiency. There's always that one person that arises and ends that circle and begins a new one. And you want to understand that for that one person, if that person is you, the lives you're going to be affecting are not going to be restricted to your immediate family, your kids alone, your wife alone. You're going to be affecting the lives of your father, your mother, your grandparents, your grandnephews, your great grandnephews. You're literally going to be changing the whole narrative of that family if you become that one person who decides to be a sworn leader. And that one person, if you are the person, there is what is necessary for you to get to that position where you can be effective in your due diligence, in your duty to your society, to your family, to your generation, to everything surrounding your life. And you want to understand this, and it's very important you listen and pay close attention. That to that one person, if you do the hard things, your life is going to be inevitably easy. But if you decide to do the easy things, your life is inevitably going to be hard. So if you decide, for that one person, if you are the one person, you decide to join the crowd and complain and whine and be cynical and be pessimistic and be utilitarian, believe me, you're not going to achieve much. But if you decide to do the hard things, because anybody can do that, really, right? I mean, anybody can wake up and complain about the weather. Anybody can wake up and complain about his or her clothes. Anybody can complain about the news. Anybody can complain about the deaths that are happening anywhere in the world. But the sworn leaders that I'm talking about are the people who take actions, those who refuse to complain with the crowd, because it's the crowd that complains. The people who isolate themselves. Great leaders really are very lonely, isolated people, because they need the time to think. They need to shut up from the crowd. They need to shut out from the crowd and shut up the noises, right? So if you're going to be that one person, then you need to understand that you need to make up your mind to do the hard things now, because only if you do the hard things right now, those things you don't want to do, because you want to understand something. The same thing that successful people don't like to do are the same things failures don't like to do. But the difference between the failure and the successful person is this: the successful person does it anyways. The same places that failures don't like to go, the same people that failures don't like to meet, the same business that failures don't want to start, the same educational rigor, career that failures don't like to pursue, the same books that failures wouldn't want to, the strains of their eyes concentrating reading those books. Successful people feel the same way. But the differentiating factor, a tiny differentiating factor between the failure and the successful person is simply this: that the successful person, amidst that inconvenience, does it anyways. Why? Because there is a higher reward to be reaped in the days to come. So you will need to make up your mind to do the hard things right now, to register the business right now. You don't feel like it, you don't see it, but you need to do it right now. You need to be that person that does what everybody else is unwilling to do right now, because you need to do what everybody else is unwilling to do right now, so that in the future you'll be able to enjoy what everybody else won't be able to enjoy. It is a simple thesis, really. If you do that thing that everybody is unwilling to do right now, in the future, they will not be able to enjoy what you, by consequence of you having done what you are about to get willing to do after this section with me today, they won't be able to enjoy your results. And it's factual. And I mean, there are so many of us out there. I mean, we were bettered into a family of no advantage whatsoever. Our grandfather was a no-name. The father was a no. They tried their best, lovingly and respectfully speaking right now. They did try their best. I used to be a victim of holding some resentment, right, honestly speaking, for my parents, and the fact that there was no push, there was literally no advantage whatsoever. I grew up into a family struggling even to make ends meet, to even the struggle that people label from hand to mouth. It was even a problem. So I grew up in that circumstance, and naturally, I would like to say there was this resentment. Being an ambitious person, uh, you know not really in the raw sense of the word ambitious, but then knowing that there is more to life, right? I had that in mind from a very tender age, from a very young age. I had it in mind that there is more to life, and financial constraint really isn't supposed to. It's an impediment on human living. It's not something that anybody should have to overgo, right? And then I blamed it on my parents, blamed it on my dad, and all of a sudden, when I started exposing myself to knowledge, it's very important you broaden your horizon, because the reason why you're thinking this way that you're thinking right now is because there are informations, there is a level of knowledge that you've not exposed yourself to. When I started exposing myself, broadening my horizon, broadening my mind, I realized that, come on, there are people who have faced the same scenarios, same players, even worse players of events as I am complaining, wrangling acrimoniously about, and they came out at the better end of that situation. At the better part of their life, they made it a success story instead of a pity story. And I decided to let go. And one thing I did, because you can't say you let go if you don't back up what your decision with an action, right? I went to my dad's place, this place of work, and genuinely that day I could feel the peace in my heart when I handed him a drink, and he thanked me for it. He was surprised, believe me, because you won't want to know. He was really surprised. Of course, he didn't jump up in excitement or any of that, but I could see the genuine surprise in his face. And from that day, I made up my mind that no, this is it. I'm the captain of my fate. I'm the master of my destiny. I'm taking the bull by the horn. I'm not blaming my grandfather. I'm not blaming my grandmother. I'm not blaming my father. I'm not blaming my mother. I'm not blaming my brothers, my sisters. I'm not blaming nobody. I'm going to end this circle, and I'm going to start a new one. And believe me, by that single decision, things began to turn around for a very unimaginable, drastic, positive way, right? So you want to understand that it's fine that you were birthed into a family with no advantage, but you want to forgive your parents. Yes, forgive them. You might think I'm sounding entitled to say forgive, but it's true that you need to forgive those who you feel have offended you, because your mind is going to clog. There are some of us out there that might think I'm sounding a bit cynical, saying that, forgive them for what? Did anybody offend you? Why would you? But you are lying to yourself right now. You feel offended. You feel you were not given that platform, that stone to stand upon and maximize your potential. You feel it in you. And you're going to beguile yourself to think that you're going to move forward with such a proclivity if you don't let it go. You need to let it slide, right? And the one word that you can use to qualify that sliding away of that offense is forgiveness. Forgive your parents, and know that from this time henceforth they owe you nothing. They've tried their best. I saw my parents struggling to cater for us. They've tried their best. It is your time right now. The baton has been passed to you, and you want to make the best possible outcome of that baton. You want to run with this as fastest as possible to pass it to the next generation. And get this straight. Not only do you need to forgive your parents, forgive all that have offended you, because you forgiving anybody really is not for the person. You're doing it for yourself. You need that right frame of mindedness. You need to think clearly. You need to approach situations, approach scenarios, thinking clearly. And the extent to which your mind is clouded, is fogged with so many, things that are beclouding your thinking, you can't function maximally. So forgive, let it go, let it go. Somebody does something to you, let it go. There is this story of a receptionist who, a man walked into the office and, "Welcome, sir. How may I be of service to you today?" After the man stated, "I reserved the room here, I need to lodge in," and then the receptionist checked, and then he saw that the room that the man reserved from his data was one room. And the man, saying it to the man was like, "No, I mean, how are you trying to insult me? Do you know," he came up with that, "do you know who I am" phrase. "Do you know who I am? I can shut down this entire hotel. I can shut down, in fact, whatever the branches of this hotel are, I can shut them down right now." The receptionist was like, "Cool, but sir, I mean, we just acted on your instructions. The reservation you have with us here is for a room and not for two, as you have said. So, but I will check and see if I can do anything concerning it." The receptionist checked and saw that there were no two rooms anywhere. All have been booked. Saying it back to the man got pissed off, and boom, he went off. "I will deal with you. I will deal with you." He walked away. And then an older man walked to that same receptionist, and the warmth with which the receptionist welcomed that man was just profound. He went like, "Welcome, sir. How may I be of service to you today?" Now, just imagine how clever that receptionist is. And then the fact that he was able to let go of, anybody could get offended by the behavior of that customer, right? But he decided not to make it his problem. And when the man, being shocked because he has witnessed the whole play out of events, he was shocked and was like, "I mean, you handled this well. How come you were so cool about this?" The receptionist said this about the man that just walked away in anger. He said, "You know, deep down within, he might really be a very nice person. I mean, he might just be having a lot of problems right now, and I hope and pray that he resolves his problems. But deep down, people are really nice people." So imagine the person that was shouting at this receptionist some few minutes ago. The receptionist is literally telling another customer that that person might just be acting from a position of constraint, a position of dissatisfaction, or a problem, with his or her life or situations or circumstances. And I forgive him for that, and I'm not going to have that constraint or play out or affect the way I run my job. He got a tip, right? He got a tip from the man to whom he was saying that to. And look at this, another person, a driver, he got out of his car. This time he was very angry, and he was like, "I mean, I don't get why you guys are like this. I don't get why you guys can't just drive properly. I don't even think you guys attended driving school. Where is your driving license?" Just wrangling, screaming at the top of his voice. And he made a statement. He said, "You are the 5th person I'm hitting today. I don't just understand." I mean, take a pause there and understand. He said, "You are the 5th person I am hitting today. The 5th person I am hitting today." So the problem wasn't their driving, obviously. The problem was his driving and his bad attitude. So he decided to say it's the problem of everybody else he has hated, and not realize that the problem was actually his. And the degree to which he realizes that soonest is the degree to which he will stop hitting people, right? So you want to take your life by the horn. You want to take the bull by the horn, to put it that way. You want to live your life and make the best possible impact you can, starting from this moment. And secondly, it's important to forgive yourself. Yes, forgive yourself. I mean, nobody's above mistakes. The person who never made a mistake on anything is the person who never tried anything, right? So if you've tried something, you failed, forgive yourself. Brush up yourself and try again. Many people have tried and failed in the past. Many people are trying and are failing as you and I are speaking. So if you're saying to yourself, "I have tried, I have failed, I will give up, I will not try again," just the assurance I'm giving you. If you give up, that thing you're striving for, that thing you're envisioning, that purpose, that vision you have for your life, for your family, that liberation, changing the whole narrative of your family in terms of finances, whatever, bringing peace to the family. If you decide to give up, I'm giving you this one assurance that it will never happen. It will just never happen. But then there is a possibility when you decide to keep striving, keep moving, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and keep stepping. A journey of 1,000 leagues, they say, begins with a single step, right? So you're just going to keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Eventually you're going to see that it's not really that hard, right? It's not really that hard, but you need to keep moving. You need to keep moving. You need to do it right now. You need to take the steps right now. You don't feel like it, do it. You don't feel like read. You don't feel like going to that person, go. You don't feel like building that business, build. You don't feel like recruiting those people, recruit. You don't feel like staying up all night, working, going through all that stress. Do it, because it's going to be worth it for you. And forgive yourself for all the past mistakes you've made. You need the clarity of your mind. You need to think clearly. You need to commit yourself to newer things. You need to expose yourself to newer possibilities. And you can't have your mind being fogged by, you can't be galloping through life as though there is no possibility for a clear visage, right? There is possibility for you to see clearly what is ahead. But until you forgive yourself of the mistakes that you've made in the past, you can't really see the future clearly. So forgive yourself. What is it that you've done? What is it you've flunked your school days, you flunked your exams, you flunked your test, you flunked in business, you tried it and it failed, you borrowed money, you lost your money, you invested, you lost other people's money, you borrowed money, you promised to pay back. The time you said you were going to pay back, you couldn't pay back. You've taken on people's word, and people have taken on your word and you failed them. Forgive yourself. Your situations right now do not reflect your personality. What you do is not who you are. What you have done is not who you are. There is a person, a better version of you locked up inside of you. But until you take away the surrounding outcomes of your life from who your personality is, there is a limit to which you can expose yourself to newer possibilities for your life. All right, so forgive yourself of every mistake you've made in the past. You married the wrong spouse, forgive yourself. You ventured into the wrong business, forgive yourself. Make do of it and get the best of it, and then venture into that business that you've realized is right for you. You've done a lot of wrong things in your past. You've even killed somebody. As drastic as that is, forgive yourself. You've lied lies that, just forgive yourself of all the wrong things you've done in the past and take your life to the next level starting from this moment. And you want to get committed. You can't achieve anything if you do not commit yourself to it. Right now, as I'm speaking to you right now, you can commit to excellence. You can commit to proficiency. You can commit to advancement. You can commit to anything you want right now. You can commit to take your life to the next level. You can commit to read. I read an average of 2 books a week, right? Some weeks more, depending on the sizes of the book, right? And that's a commitment. It's not convenient. It's not because I have all the time. Sometimes I literally keep my eyes open like this just to make sure that literally in the middle of the night when others are sleeping, my eyes, I can literally hold up my eyes to read. I wash my face, I come back in the next 15 minutes, my eyes are going, I go back, I wash my face. I must finish it. I must finish those books. That's a commitment because I am after knowledge. I know there is the difference between where you are right now and where you want to be is what you yet to know, right? The difference between who you are right now and who you want to become is what you are yet to know, the information you are yet to expose yourself to. So you want to banish ignorance from yourself. You want to shine light upon your mind. And the cheapest way you can do that is by consulting other people's experience, which are in books. You need to read, you need to study, you need to watch videos like this that broaden your mind, broaden your horizon. I mean, I speak sometimes and people are surprised. I mean, he's speaking so articulately, so intelligently. And I say, I didn't just start like that, right? I'm not where I want to be when it comes to my proficiency in speech. I'm not where I want to be when it comes to my articulateness, but of course I didn't start like this. I didn't start speaking so gullibly and fluently as people comment and say I speak. But it took a lot of commitment of development, of I not even seeing the possibilities of it, for me to shut down my mind from the current circumstances and gaze upon what I'm going towards, gaze upon what I'm seeing ahead. It's like you moving with a torch, right? So you'll be beguiling yourself if you're moving in the dark. Imagine you are in a cave and you're moving with a torch, and you can't see the end of the cave from your current position with that torch, a small torchlight. Let's assume the light of the torch is small. But when you begin to move with that torch, then you begin to see that the darkness begins to disappear. As you're moving, it disappears. As you're moving, it disappears. And all of a sudden, you get to a position where you'll be able to see the end of that cave because you kept moving. But were it to be that you stood at your initial position, waiting to see what is at the other end of the cave before you began to move, you most likely would have never gotten to the end of that cave. As somebody else puts it, they said, if you wait for all the lights to be green, all the traffic lights to be green, you will never leave your house, because there is no possibility of all the lights that are going to be in your route, the route from your work or from your house to your next destination point, to be green. You will wait forever. So you need to start moving right now. Start moving right now. Commit yourself to the little things, because if you can't trust yourself on the little things, if you can't trust yourself to eat well, if you can't trust yourself to exercise your body, if you can't trust yourself to do those little things, those little victories, to read that one chapter of a book a day, if you can't trust yourself to build up good and better relationships, if you can't trust yourself to relate with people better, if you can't trust yourself to the real you really is who you are when nobody is looking, right? So if you can't trust yourself to do the right thing even when nobody is seeing you, then you can't do anything advancing and positively impacting in life, because you need to record those little wins. Eat good food, exercise your body, read good books, broaden your mind, get those little victories. I will prepare. Abraham Lincoln said this, and I believe it's true and yet very, very classic, timeless and profound. He said, I will prepare and one day my time will come. But the preparation begets the performance, right? If you do not prepare for the stage, you're going to flunk at the stage. You're going to make a fool of yourself on the stage, right? So make those little commitments, eat good food, do the exercises, and ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Olem Isaiah, and yes, I am the Pathfinder, because it is literally my life assignment to help you. I don't really care where you are. I don't care what the surrounding situations of your life are saying to you right now. I don't care what it seems that your life could result to, futilitarian in the sense. I don't care how bizarre and pessimistic that everybody around you is. To find your path is important, and it's my assignment to help you do that. And there is a purpose for your existence. There is a purpose for which you live. We'd like to thank you specially for joining us on today's pathfinding session, and we hope to see you on the next session, because we promise it's going to be illuminating, life-changing, life-impacting, life-transforming. And I'd like you to like, subscribe, share on this. If you have something resonating in your mind, you can comment below so others can partake from your experience.